Beer is the great family of starch-based alcoholic beverages produced without distillation. Today, in the industrialized world, beer is usually brewed from barley malt, with other grains such as rice, corn, wheat, or oats thrown in for reasons of cost, texture, or tradition, and seasoned with hops. This is but a small subset of all possible beers. In the vast span of history, and in the diverse cultures of pre-industrial societies, many other variations are found. Every imaginable starchy vegetable product has been used, even manioc and millet. The starch in grain is not readily fermentable by brewer's yeast, so some chemical process must be used to break down the starches into fermentable sugars. For Andean chicha, women chew maize, and enzymes in their saliva do the trick. In sake, yes, it's beer, not wine, Aspergillus fungus is used to provide the necessary enzymes. Fortunately, grains such as barley and wheat already contain enzymes capable of doing the job when given the opportunity. We know beer as a delicious treat. These days, it is not essential for survival. But in the days of poor sanitation, just a century or two ago, beer was one of the few cheap, safe sources of potable water. Beer can also contain a lot of protein and carbohydrates, depending on how it is brewed, and this has earned it the nickname liquid bread. Beer also contains alcohol, long prized for its ability to ease social tensions and create a sense of well-being, despite the risks to those who overindulge. Beer can be brewed to suit many different tastes and for a host of different purposes. It is typical to see, in most cultural contexts, a range of beers from weak to strong, filling different roles in the day, the season, or the society. Those who study the birth of civilizations and beer note that the two happened at just about the same time. Barley was one of the earliest cultivated grains, and the fact that it emerged in domesticated form with just the right characteristics for brewing tells us a lot. Leaving the nomadic life behind for a pot of gruel is one thing, but toss in a beer, and it's a hard deal to turn down. It is my belief that squeezing people into cities generates a certain amount of itchy friction, but this can be eased by a social lubricant like beer, served up in that other beloved institution, the tavern, which appeared on the scene not long after beer. Beer, in many times and places, was not a casual consumer choice, but something much more meaningful. The ancient Middle Eastern peoples had gods and goddesses dedicated to the stuff, and they wove the creation of beer into their own epic tales. In the Sumerian epic of Gilgamesh, it is a sip of beer that makes the wild man civilized. In Egyptian legend, it saved the world. Through the millennia, beer has been accorded the highest possible status in culture after culture. We owe it to beer to understand it, to nurture it, to respect it. Like all human art forms, it survives only at our pleasure. We get out of it what we put into it.